It's Batman time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Mafex Knightfall Batman figure. Oh my god, I love Knightfall. Two introductions in that Batman arc. We got Bane, first time he showed up in the comics, but also often overlooked Jean-Paul Valley, also known as Azrael, and shortly also known as Batman. And this is what this figure is based on. A more tacked up suit, a more cyber suit that looks 90s as hell, and that's why I love it oh so much. And when Mafex was announcing this guy, yeah, I jumped on the occasion, because I am dying to get my hands on a high quality Knightfall Batman figure, and hopefully an Azrael down the line. But let's not get too far ahead, let's have a look at this one. This figure stands at about 16 centimeters to the top of his head, which means we're going up to almost 6.5 inches. Oh, and for the size comparisons, here's Jolter, NECA Michelangelo, the SH Figure Arts Son Goku, an SH Figure Arts Batman, this weird kind of DC Collectibles Jim Lee Batman, the Mafex Batman from Batman Hush, McFarlane Toys Thomas Wayne, and Darkseid. Overall, look and detail for this guy, oh my god, it's amazing. I mean, it's so aesthetically pleasing, with especially the shiny paint job. And I know, dumb people like me like shiny things. That's always what they say, but it's just true. For a figure, it works so well. And Mafex doesn't really do the metallic paint job, in a way you have the particles in the blue, but it's just a little bit more of a shiny coat that they, I guess, put over it. And it, it essentially does the same thing, although like the particles usually tend to radiate a little bit more on the light, but still, you have a lot of shine coming off here from the helmet especially. Yeah, but that's due to all the wrinkles. The anger expression on there is absolutely gorgeous in the best way possible. Have the neck with a little bit of just metal in there, just the gray stuff, and the big shoulder pads have the spikes on both sides, which is fairly sharp, so be aware of that. Paint in the middle of it. By the way, everything on this guy is painted. I don't think there's like any unpainted plastic on here, which is very much appreciated. For the chest area, you have a little bit more of a gold look, and unfortunately, the one issue with paint, there's like how does this happen? It's just like, I guess they might put too much paint on it, and there's some weird spots on it. So, those are these things I look at, and I'm just like, at the Mafex price point, I always have a problem with it. For the torso area, he's nice and ripped and uber shiny, like bruh. Like, I just have fun looking at the light reflecting off of his muscles, sexy. But also, the gauntlets, the amazing detail in there, actually very nicely done, have no issues there. Well, a little bit over there, but nothing too major about it. And the big shiny claws, we got some more claw hands for later, we'll have a look at that. As we move down to the pants, well, is this really pants? It's the entire costume, it's just like a onesie, I guess. And I love the pouches as well. They have a nice amount of detail on it, and I also painted as everything. Also, there's a butt, if you like the butt. And let's have a look at the back of the figure, by the way. Looks a little bit like a Michelin Man in the back. So, what is this? Is this supposed to be lifting up like that? I guess. I mean, it's not really an issue. By the way, yeah, there's also red under there, which is like a matte, has a matte finish. Down to the legs, where, the matte finish really comes through a lot with the brown, well, the gray actually. Wow, my brain stopped working there for a second. And the yellow pouches, because pouches, it's the 90s. Everybody had pouches, like, look at these tiny mini pouches. What do you even do with that? Down to the feet, simple enough looking, nothing under there. And you have some more bat blades on the side. And yes, he does have indeed a cloth cape, which I'm a big fan of it. I hate those plastic capes. This, you can obviously bend it. There's a bendy wire in both sides, but also one on this area, none in the middle, unfortunately. And as you can tell, you can really spread it out, but they kind of tend to move around, especially on this side. I don't know, like there's maybe this one's a little bit loosened up. Obviously I can't tell because of the cloth in it, but yeah, you can move this up and down, have some playability with it, and really put it into some cool poses, which I'm looking forward, because articulating is fun. So let's have a look at the articulation. Head doesn't really have that much room. It's just a double ball. Let me see that. Let me take this out. Have the classic double ball with a long peg in there. So as such, the head really just has some wiggle motion. If you push it forward, kind of try to shift it around there on the ball, you can still get some out of it, but you also have the neck, which is on another ball, so you can rotate those two around, and the result of it is decent, I'd say. It doesn't really look up that far, but it works. Also tilts side to side a little bit and goes all the way around, but once again, if you use the neck with it, you're getting your money's worth out of the head articulation. Then for the shoulder, you have a butterfly joint in there, which doesn't have the greatest range, but that's obviously because of the big shield on his chest. And then you have another ball joint in there, which has a peg that goes into a hinge for the shoulder. But again, because of the shoulder pads, it doesn't go any more up than this. And bringing it forward, it still gets some good range out of it. Like, not too shabby. And also you can kind of shift it up and down on the ball itself, and back and forth can try that. Then you have the bicep swivel, which obviously cuts up the entire mold, but if you just shift it a little bit to the side, then it's fine. The double hinged elbow, again, doesn't really go up all the way. They did leave a little bit of space there, so you can get it up, but because of the nature of the gauntlets, you can't really go any further than that. And then you have a ball hinge for the fist, well, the hand area in general, and that also rotates around if you just bend it a little bit forward, because again, gauntlet gets in the way. Same for the chest area. It does move backwards nicely enough, but forward, well, again, shift it around on the ball, get it side to side, and I mean, the forward motion and the backward motion I feel like is satisfying, considering he has like a bunch of armor on there, and you can also swivel him all the way around without any issues. And the lower half, the hip part, also same thing. The belt, by the way, it is connected to the butt. It's not on a ball or anything, so be careful not to break it off. Just like kind of plastic kind of tucked in there, and that's not great. But anyway, it gets the job done. Forward motion is beautiful, backward motion is nice, and side to side motion also very good. And yeah, it swivels all the way around because they made the right choice of attaching the pouches to the ass and not the torso. So good job on that. You have another shifting part with the legs, because you have the ball in there with a peg, but also on a hinge on the crotch piece itself. So you can bring that down for some high kicks, goes up very nicely. Also the crotch piece is soft-ish, so it gets out of the way for that. Due to the butt, it doesn't really go back all that much. Well, you can kind of squish the butt a little bit and out to the side. Let me try that, like move it up a little bit more. And obviously you can rotate it on here, and the double hinged knee goes up all the way, and the foot is on another ball hinge. Back, forward, does tilt side to side, but also the ball in there kind of tends to rotate around with it, which I don't really like, because that screws up your pivot. However, it also, if you move it in the right direction, it can enhance your pivot. It's just very fidgety, and that's kind of annoying. So also finally have a toe hinge. Also, by the way, the joints on this figure are tight for the most part. It's a little bit wobbly on the hips. It moves around a little bit more than I wanted to, I guess, as hips don't lie. And also the ball joint in the foot, you know, it's one of these things, like, he does stand, but it can be troublesome kind of to get him to stand up, and having him stay standing up is what I'm trying to say. Now for the accessories, they actually kind of suck, and I'm actually going to start off with the base for one. So, you know, here's the part that makes sense. You have the base with 3 holes in it. So you can put either this jointed, movable arm on it, but then you have a couple of options also for that. You have this butt cradle thingy, right? But that doesn't work. That doesn't do enough. Haha, you can combine it with this claw. Just drape this over, and then you cradle the butt, and you still have the claw. But if you don't like the butt cradle thingy, you can just put the claw on the regular base. And if you don't like this connection, you also have like another connection. So you put this on the base, and this claw on the base, and oh my god. And then you have also regular claw, which you can combine also with like a bunch of stuff. I don't know if it even goes on this one. No, probably not, but you just... you get it on the base like that, yay. Yeah, it's a bit bigger than the regular one. Well, actually, it's differently shaped, I guess. So, and finally, you also have this pole. I don't even know. You can put the pole in the base, you can put the pole on this one, but then it just goes up and just okay. The base is way too convoluted. What is this, freaking Lego? Then you have a head sculpt of Jean-Paul, which, bruh, this looks amazing. I love also the shading in the hair. It looks straight out of the comic book. So clean, printed on there. Nice stuff. For the hands, you have open claw hands, like kind of open claw hands, and then like a little bit more relaxed open claw hands, but none that are just completely straight. And then you have fist hands. But wait, we already had fist hands. Yeah, there's, I don't know, there's a little bit more of a gap between the fist and the thumb. From what I've seen in the box, like maybe you try to tuck the cape in there, but I don't really know. So the hands are weird, and then you have these batarangs. But what do you even do with these batarangs? They're just flying around. Haha. Well, you put it on the gauntlets on the top. Let me take the fist actually out of there. You can tell there's a little slide for that, and you can throw out some batarangs. There's obviously on both sides. And also you have the grappling hook, which is just on a wire. It looks great. Like, I mean, it looks like a grappling hook. And that's supposed to go into the tiny hole on the lower half. And the connection for that is freaking abysmal. Like, it's so loosely in there. It works somehow, but I don't know. And I can only see the hole on this side. I don't even see it on the other side. Like, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's like a little bit of the space in there, but I think the hole is only on this side. And really connecting this kind of sucks because that's a wire that goes into plastic. Why isn't there like a plastic piece on the lower half to just connect it like that? So they kind of screwed that up. Final thoughts for this Knightfall Batman, and yes, I went crazy on the cape, had a little bit of fun with that, and actually the one fist that you're getting, which has a little bit more space, it does work. You can wrap the cape around it to make it look like he's holding on to it. That's pretty cool. Now, overall, the look and detail of this figure is amazing. I love the way it looks. I have zero issues with that. Articulation works well. However, it's yeah, it's too loose. I don't know. Beforehand I was just like, oh, it's okay, but like the more I played around with him, the more I was like, yeah, the legs could be tighter, the chest could be tighter, whatnot. Also, the hands pop up way too easily when you're just trying to wrap the cape around and just move it up and down. And it just like pops off almost immediately. So that's an issue. And finally, the accessories are neither here nor there. They're good, but they're not great. You know. The different head sculpt is awesome. The batarangs are cool, but also you have the grappling hook, which doesn't really connect that well. And what's up with the hands? Why are we not doing chop hands or like a pointy finger or something? Just like this weird set of hands it baffles my mind every time with Mafex. And then there's the base, which is convoluted, and I don't like it. So, what's the final verdict on this one? If you can look over the flaws, this is still a great looking piece. And that's something I always come back to, and if a figure still looks great, that's like one of the most important aspects to me. Everything else is secondary. Yes, it's important, and at the price point, is this one really worth it? Only if you're a fan of this design, and only if you're a fan of you know, Knightfall and whatnot. But other than that, it's like it's a really hard sell. Again, considering how Mafex ain't really cheap. But still, me personally, I like it, and I will recommend it. If you like this design, if you like Knightfall, and yada yada yada, that's about it. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Knightfall Batman wants.